in Celebration of Violence is impenetrable. This is done with purpose. Their intention is to drive a sense of exploration. There's no story cohesion, nothing that gives purpose, zero direction where to go. It's lacking incentive to play, except to say you finish the game. Only basic information is revealed, like the controls. If that sounds hopeless, then this is not your game. But if you need a challenge and want cryptic, please keep watching. This game has sprouted from a seed of secrecy. The only mechanics explained to the player are the buttons etched on the floor in the starting area. While I find it to be a nuisance, others are going to love it. Those who scoff at a game when it coddles a player. Yet the same people who need to know about the game do not need spoilers. So I'm going to try and not spoil it too much, but everything I say could be considered a spoiler when a game has more secrets than a secret society. In Celebration of Violence holds on to its secrets for a long time too. It reveals information in only tiny bits at a time. It's a serious hurdle. Even the items. For example, you can only see the name of the item when you first find it. Pick it up and only a few characters of the description become visible. You need to collect the item several times before you'll get the entire text. It's an interesting way to prolong the air of mystery. Most games try this and bail on the idea long before In Celebration of Violence does. For me, this only drags out trying to figure out how to play. Some items are so subtle, it's difficult to know what they do. I hoped picking up an item enough would help me figure it out before seeing the full text. For players who want to cling to the secrets, then this will entice them. If you're still interested in the game, then you must consider the combat. It's more important than any game mysteries. Comparing the combat to Dark Souls is a must because In Celebration of Violence claims it's like the Binding of Isaac and Dark Souls got smooshed together. Anyway, In Celebration of Violence borrows the two most important elements from Dark Souls: heavy reliance on a stamina meter and the health flask. Although in this game, the flask, or surge, has an effect on the world. Interesting. The stamina meter is, as you would expect, drops as you swing your weapon, even more if the weapon is bigger, even more if you hit a wall, so try not to do that. But it's interesting how much the game changes when you're out in the open versus underground tunnels. Running out of stamina has gotten me into so much trouble. Anyway, the character has a dodge and a block. Both are useful in different situations, and you need to use both to survive. But of course, they use some of the stamina meter. Worrying about stamina in a game that relates itself to Dark Souls. Who would have guessed? The human enemies follow the same rules you do. They move slow and attack slow. Still, the combat is stressful. A wrong move and you'll have regrets. Nothing is a freebie. Most of my deaths are from running in too fast without checking all my surroundings. I have a difficult time with the top-down viewpoint. After playing Streets of Rogue, this game feels not as smooth. I swing and miss a lot more. In Celebration of Violence is a lot more realistic. For example, Streets of Rogue jumps you forward when you swing a melee weapon, which makes it a lot easier to land a hit. You don't need to judge the distance. But In Celebration of Violence has no such step forward, so where you're standing is where you'll swing. It makes you a lot more careful with your actions. I also have a difficult time with critters. Bats, rats, mice, and spiders are a nightmare. They move quick and nibble at your health. It's frustrating, but it lands in the get good category, which means there's a lot to learn. Learning each of the enemy's movements and how to handle them, what they're going to do, and how to avoid taking damage. You don't have a choice because running away is impossible. There's more depth to the combat, and I don't want to reveal too much, but there is magic in this world, and you can pick up spells. There's also shrines where you can trade inventory and health for buffs. Both require a decision to be made if it's worth it. It opens up different ways to play, and you'll make different decisions depending on your current situation. Always good to have more branching paths and give the player the power to decide. In Celebration of Violence can put the player in some weird situations, such as I had a cursed battering ram. Every time I swung, it would remove 1 HP. But it hit from so far away, it was useful. What do? Stop using the battering ram? Are you crazy? The game puts you in a lot of different situations. Each run is unique, even though there's always a similar collection of enemies. Each run is about collecting different spells, weapons, and items, and then seeing how far you can make it with what you've scrounged together. This includes what you lose, too. I threw a dagger and missed the enemy, and it fell to the ground. As the enemy retaliated, they hit my dagger and destroyed it. How the heck am I supposed to overcome that? Ugh. Side note, there's a hunger meter and your actions affect it. So far, I've not had problems finding food, but I've been concerned. Another mechanic that's against you. Anyway, you start as a peasant. It even comes with a pitchfork. You can unlock new classes, but I have no idea how. So far, I've unlocked a criminal class, but as far as I know, it was magic how I got it unlocked. Now, the stats between the classes are only slightly different. It's impossible to know how much it really matters. What's important is that they start with different weapons. I prefer the criminal's loadout. The character select screen is also where you upgrade the global stats. So no matter where you dump the points, it counts for any class you choose. This is where you'll be spending the experience you collect each run. But it's not so straightforward. There's a catch. Actually, there's 3 catches. 1. Experience is used to buy everything. This includes spells and items on the run. So saving all your experience isn't going to work. Spending all your experience, that's not going to work either. 2. You only get to keep some of the experience at the end of the run. The game tells you how violent you are and then awards you experience. At least you get something for dying. 3. You can bank experience after defeating a boss. This is how I've been gaining the bulk of my experience. But banking it means you won't have any to carry over to the next area. So while banking it might help your long-term chances, it makes the game harder. It can be painful to come across an item you want and not have any experience to buy it. Then again, dying with a lot of experience on your character is wasteful. Pick your poison. With this system, in Celebration of Violence is a grind. Many of my runs feel exactly the same. Get to one point, bank all my experience, and die. I feel stuck. The little bits of experience I do get to spend between runs feels like slow progress. It doesn't seem like I'm getting powerful. I know that on a long enough timeline, I will be strong enough to finish the game. It's a lot like how Rogue Legacy handled the difficulty. The longer you play, the easier the game gets. This isn't a negative mark against the game, but for players who despise that grind, you've been warned. While I only played in Celebration of Violence alone, a co-op mode was added in the last update. Sorry, I can't speak to that. There's no way I can trick my wife into playing this. Overall, in Celebration of Violence is worth your time if you don't mind the grind. I found I would hesitate to start a new run, but once on the run, I would be completely into it. It's difficult to ignore the slow progress. Deaths feel more frustrating than fun sometimes. Still, learning the system and living through deadly situations is fun. If you only want a little help, there are some good guides in the Steam Community Hub. They helped me get past that initial confusion. Hey, thanks for watching. Just want to let you know that I do put some written-only reviews on the Steam Curator page because if I made a video for all of them, it would take a long time. There's some older ones, but usually they're pretty interesting and I like to share them with you.